Today I'm going to read the book Srila Prabhupada's Lilamrita. Sri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati's massive pilgrimage had been rolling on with great success when he met with serious opposition. The local temple proprietors in Vrindavana objected to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta's awarding the sacred Brahminical thread to devotees not born in their families of Brahmanas. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, throughout his lectures and writings, had repeatedly proven from the Vedic scriptures that one is a Brahmana not by birth but by qualities. He often cited a verse from Sanatana Goswami's Hari Bhakti Vilasa stating that just as base metal when mixed with mercury can become gold, so an ordinary man can become a Brahmana if initiated by a bona fide spiritual master. He also often cited a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam in which the great sage Narada tells King Yudhishthira that if one is born in the family of a Shudra but acts as a Brahmana, he has to be accepted as a Brahmana. And if one is born in the family of a Brahmana but acts as a Shudra, he is to be considered a Shudra because the prime method of spiritual advancement in the age of Kali is the chanting of the holy name of God. Any person who chants Hare Krishna should be recognized as a saintly person. When the local Panditas approached Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati for discussion, they questioned his leniency in giving initiation and his awarding the Brahminical thread and sannyasa dress to persons of lower caste. Because of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's scholarly, forceful presentation, the Panditas seemed satisfied by the discussion, but when the Parikrama party arrived at Vrindavana's seven main temples, which had been erected by the immediate followers of Lord Chaitanya, the party found the doors closed. Vrindavana shopkeepers closed their business, and some people even threw stones at the passing pilgrims. But the Parikrama party, led by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, continued in good spirits despite the animosity. And on October 28, the party arrived at Kosi, the site of the treasury of Krishna's father, King Nanda. Abhay arrived in Mathura by train from Allahabad and approached Kosi by rickshaw. The countryside was full of charm for Abhay. Instead of factories and large buildings, there were mostly forest, and aside from the main paved road on which he traveled, there were only dirt roads and soft sandy lanes. As a Vaishnava, Abhay felt sensations an ordinary man wouldn't. Now and then he sighted a peacock in the field, its exotic plumage proclaiming the glories of Vrindavan and Krishna. Even a non devotee, however, could appreciate the many varieties of birds, their interesting cries and songs filling the air. Occasionally, a tree would be filled with madly chirping sparrows, making their urgent twilight clamor before resting for the night. Even one unaware of the special significance of Vrindavana could feel a relief of mind in this simple countryside where people built fires from cow manure fuel and cooked their evening meals in the open. Their fires added rich, natural smells to the indefinable mixture which was the order of the earth. There were many grand old trees and colorful stretches of flowers, bushes of bright violet camellia, trees abloom with delicate white parijata blossoms, and big yellow kadamba flowers rarely seen outside Vrindavana. On the road, there was lovely horse-drawn Tanga traffic. The month of Kartika, October to November, was one of the several times of the year that drew many pilgrims to Vrindavana. The one-horse tangas carried large families. some coming from hundreds of miles away. Larger bands of pilgrims, grouped by village, walked together, the women dressed in bright colored saris, brown skinned men and women, sometimes singing bhajans, carrying but a few simple possessions as they headed for the town of thousands of temples, Vrindavana. And there were businessmen like Abe, dressed more formally, coming from a city, maybe to spend the weekend. Most of them had at least some semblance of religious motive to see Krishna in the temple, to bathe in the holy Yamuna river, to visit the sites where Lord Krishna had performed his pastimes, such as the lifting of Govardhan Hill, the killing of the Keshi demon, or the dancing in the evening with the gopis. Abhay was sensitive to the atmosphere of Vrindavana, and he noted the activity along the road. But more than that, he cherished with anticipation the fulfillment of his journey, his meeting again after a long separation. The saintly person he had always thought of within himself, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, who had spoken to him in Calcutta and had convinced him of Lord Chaitanya's mission to preach Krishna consciousness. Abhay would soon see him again, and this purpose filled his mind. Upon reaching the lantern illuminated camp of the Gaudiya Math and inquiring at the registration post, he was allowed to join the Parikrama village. He was assigned to a tent of Grahastha men and was offered prasadam. The people were friendly and in good spirits, and Abhay talked of his activities with the Madha members in Calcutta and Allahabad. Then there was a gathering. A sannyasi was making an announcement. This evening, he said, there would be a scheduled visit to a nearby temple to see the deity of Sheshai Vishnu. Some of the pilgrims cheered, Hari Bol, Hari Krishna. The sannyasi also announced that His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakura would speak that evening for the last time and would be leaving the parikrama party the next day. So there was a choice of going on the parikrama or staying for the lecture. Srila Prabhupada, so I met them in Koshi, and Keshava Maharaja was informing that Srila Bhakti Siddhanta is going to Mathura tomorrow morning and he will speak Harikatha this evening. Anyone who wants to may remain or otherwise they may go to see Seshai Vishnu. So at that time, I think only 10 or 12 men remained. Sridhara Maharaja was one of them, and I thought it wise. What can I see at this Seshai? Let me hear what Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati will speak. Let me hear. Hare Krishna. Oh, in this reading, it spoke about Prabhupada's meeting with Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati again in Koshi, which is a countryside village in Vrindavana. The pilgrimage led by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati faced significant opposition in Vrindavana. The local temple proprietors and panditas objected him. The reason for the objection is he was awarding the sacred Brahminical thread to the devotees born as a Shudra or not born in Brahmana families. Bhaktisiddhanta argued the point based on scriptural references such as Haribhakta Vilas and Srimad Bhagavatam that becoming a Brahmana is based on their qualities, not by birth. Initially, they became satisfied with his arguments, but later on, the doors of the seven main Vrindavana temple were closed to the Parikrama party. They became hostile, but the Parikrama party continued in good spirit. Meanwhile, Abhay arrived in Vrindavana, a place called Koshi, where the camp for Gaudiya Matha Parikrama was going on. He was given the choice to visit nearby temple or stay and listen to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's speech. Abhay chose to stay there and listen. Bhaktisiddhanta was talking about the stages of devotional service such as Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojana. Abhay sat there and listened to his ecstatic lecture.